How much does it cost to live in Toronto? Is electricity and gas cheaper? What about groceries and transport? Well, in this video, I will show you how much it costs if you are planning to move here for a short term or a long term. Hi. Welcome to Cost of Living, where I show the amount money required to cover necessary expenses to maintain a certain lifestyle for different countries and cities. Toronto, the capital of the province of Ontario, is a major Canadian city along Lake Ontario's northwestern shore. With a population just short of 3 million people, and it's the largest city in Canada. The city is vibrant and diverse, and it is constantly growing. This can be both exciting and challenging. One way to make the transition easier is to know what you're getting into before you move. Housing costs. Toronto is an expensive city to live in, and housing costs are a major contributor. This is due to the high demand for housing in Toronto. It's consistently among the most expensive cities for housing. In fact, Toronto ranks as one of the top 5 most expensive cities for housing in Canada. According to Numbeo, it will cost you $1,968 to afford a one-bedroom apartment in downtown Toronto. The average asking rental price in 2022 is $3,439 for a single-family home, $3,214 for a townhouse, and $2,694 for a condo. The average studio rent is $1,712 in 2022. Two-bedroom rents an average of $2,708, and four-bedroom rents for $3,542 in 2022. According to the latest Rentals.ca National Rent Report, Toronto was one of 5 Canadian cities where rent prices leapt by over 20% year-over-year in August 2022, along with regional sibling Hamilton. Despite declining affordability, rental rates for the largest units in the market continue to see annual appreciation that is higher than the smaller suites. With more Canadians shut out of the ownership market due to higher interest rates, it is conceivable that there are more upper-middle-class renters than there have been in previous years. Types of property to rent in Toronto. Detached homes. These are homes that stands on its own and doesn't share a wall with any other residences. Often, detached homes have front and backyards. Semi-detached homes. These are homes that are individual units that share one common wall with another household. Duplexes and triplexes. These are homes that are multi-level, where each floor typically has its own entrance and serves as a separate residence. Townhouses. These are homes that are similar to semi-detached houses, except they share a wall with neighbors on each side of the house, unless you live in an end unit. Rental apartments. These are units in buildings owned by one landlord or company. Residents pay a monthly fee to live in the units. Condos. They are like apartment buildings, but with a different ownership structure. Residents can own or rent units, while a condo corporation owns and maintains the building's common elements, like hallways and lobbies and exterior. Rental rooms. They are a living space in someone else's home that you pay a monthly fee to inhabit. Lofts. A loft is a rented living space in the top story of a house, or in its attic. Renting process. You can use a realtor to help find affordable housing that meets your needs. Realtors in Canada not only help with buying properties, but also with renting them. Their services are often free to renters, as their commission is paid by the landlord. There are tons of online resources that you can also use to help you find a rental, like Craigslist and Kijiji. Offer to lease. As soon as you find the property you like, you should proceed with the offer to lease. Your realtor has to prepare that will sign. The offer will have different standard clauses and/or conditions. There must be occupancy date, rent amount, lease term, usually minimum of 1 year. As soon as it is signed by you, your realtor must send it immediately to the listing agent. Proof of income is submitted together with the offer. Pay stubs, letter of employment, notice of assessment, taxes, bank statements, minimum of 3 months, or investments, anything showing that you are able to pay the rent. After all documents are submitted by your realtor to the listing agent, you wait until the irrevocable time expires, the answer from the landlord's representative, listing agent. The offer can be accepted, signed back, or declined. If you are accepted as tenants, you have 24 hours to submit 2-month rent amount, and it has to be in certified check or money draft obtained from a Canadian bank. Gas and electric. Just to give you an idea, in summer, temperatures can go above 30 degrees Celsius, while in winter they can drop below -40 degrees Celsius. So, you'll be spending a lot just on your heating and cooling, not to mention the cost of other utilities. The Ontario Energy Board regulates the energy sector of the province, and is responsible for electricity and natural gas. The average cost for electricity from 1-bedroom apartment to 5-bedroom apartment will cost you $41 to $72, and for 2-bedroom townhouse to 6-bedroom townhouse will cost you anywhere from $58 to $72. The average natural gas usage and pricing are totally dependent on the season and supply and demand. For example, the average usage goes up to 316 cubic meters for December, with an estimated cost of $159.47. Residents of the City of Toronto have several energy retailers to choose from, including the following: Just Energy, Link Energy, Myrate Energy. Water bills. Every city in Ontario has a robust water system in place to deliver water to residential and non-residential customers. The customers are charged for how many cubic meters of water they consume in a specified time period. In Toronto, for instance, the billing type is divided into 2 types. Low-volume water user. This is less than 6,000 cubic meters per year. You will be billed every 4 months, or 3 times a year. You can also sign up for monthly utility billing. High-volume water user. This is more than 6,000 cubic meters per year. You will be billed on a monthly basis. The average monthly water bills by cubic meter in Ontario is as follows. 10 cubic meters enough for 1 to 2 people is about $18.70. 20 cubic meters enough for 2 to 3 people is $37.40, and 30 cubic meters enough for 3 to 5 people is $56.10. The Ontario Clean Water Agency is a Crown agency of the Government of Ontario that provides operation, maintenance and management services for more than 450 water and wastewater treatment facilities in the province. If you have reached this far, and you like this kind of videos, please subscribe, if you have not, and turn on the notification, so you would not miss when I upload next video. Internet. Internet in Toronto can widely vary in price. You'll be able to find plans for around $30 per month, or as high as $140 per month. The plans that will fulfill the needs for most homes range between $70 to $90 per month for 100 to 300 megabits per second. Best internet providers in Toronto include Bell, OXIO, and Rogers. Cell phones. Cost of a typical cell phone plan with 5 gigabytes, 500 talk minute, and 1,000 is about $25 per month. Transportation. The best way to get around Toronto is by public transportation. The Toronto Transit Commission, TTC, runs 3 modes: subway, streetcar and bus, which operate extensive routes throughout the city and suburbs. You will need a token, or a pass to travel on TTC, or week-long pass. Day passes cost $9 and weekly passes cost about $34. If you're in a hurry, the subway is your best bet. The subway also connects the city to the Toronto Pearson International Airport. Where the subway doesn't go, buses and streetcars do. You will need a token, or a pass to ride. Most streetcars run 24 hours a day. But the buses operate from 6 a.m., 8 a.m. on Sundays to 1 a.m. daily. The only way to get to and from the Toronto Islands is by ferry. The ferry departs from the Jack Layton Ferry Terminal in downtown Toronto and takes visitors to Hanlan's Point, Centre Island and Wards Island. Tickets cost around $6 for adults, and about $2.85 for children 14 and younger. Like in other major cities, Toronto cabs are not hard to come by. You can hail them on the street, or simply wait in front of a major hotel or attraction. But keep in mind, taxi fares tend to add up quickly, no matter where you are. Toronto's grid layout makes it easy to navigate. But a car is unnecessary if you're planning to stay in the city proper. Traffic in central Toronto can be a major headache, especially during rush hour, and parking can get pricey. Also, if you are visiting during the winter, and do not have much experience driving in snow and ice, it's best to leave the driving to those familiar with the conditions. If you do decide to rent a car, most major rental agencies are represented at the Toronto airport, and you can also find several agencies scattered throughout central Toronto. You won't need an international driving permit if you have a valid driver's license. Toronto is a big city, but its neighborhoods are relatively easy to explore on foot. But if you'd prefer to explore Toronto's neighborhoods by bike, the city offers, with nearly 3,000 bikes and almost 300 stations, it's easy to find a bike and go. A day pass costs $7, with the first 30 minutes of every ride included. Groceries. With general prices skyrocketing, the money spent on groceries every month depends on an individual's preference and personal needs. In 2021, the average grocery cost for one person was $200 per month. In terms of statistics, the average cost of food has experienced a slight increase in recent years, and some of the factors driving this increase include higher food prices due to rising fuel costs, inflation, and supply chain issues related to the COVID-19 pandemic. If you are the kind of person who likes to cook at home and go to the Metro supermarket weekly for grocery shopping, and you are also take your own lunch to work, you're most likely to spend $200 to $250. There are many factors that can make this price higher or lower. Dining out and delivery. The average cost of a 3-course meal for one person, that includes an appetizer, main course, and dessert ranges from $25 to $75. And also expect to spend at least $10 per person on delivery and takeout. Health and personal care. The cost of health insurance for each individual, taken directly out of their taxes, comes out to $1,475. When extrapolated to a monthly cost, this comes out to just over $118 per person per month. If they were to visit a doctor, or have a procedure done, all of this would be covered by the policy. However, some things are not covered by this universal healthcare, which is why many Canadians will pay for additional health insurance coverage. Similar to many universal policies throughout the world, the health coverage provided through the Canada Health Act will not cover dental care, long-term care, or prescription drugs. In order to get coverage for these things, additional coverage must be purchased. For personal care and beauty products, for a man you are looking to spend an average of $20 to $40 per month, and for a woman it could cost you up to $60 on average. Considering every one of us is different on our budgeting. Working out is great for your mind and body, though it can sometimes be a strain on your wallet. Luckily, Toronto has plenty of no-frills gyms that'll cost you less than $20 a month. Some of them include Planet Fitness with 12 location, Hone Fitness with 7 location, and Fit for Less with 10 location. Education. When it comes to study abroad countries, Canada is an affordable choice. The cost of studying in Canada is high, yet manageable owing to the fact that it offers a couple of ways to fund your studies. Starting from well-funded scholarships, to various part-time job opportunities, Canada has it all. Depending on the type of universities you choose, in Toronto the average cost of studying ranges from $14,724 to $44,174. Here's some of the cheapest universities in Toronto for international students. Tyndale University, University of Guelph Humber, Ryerson University. Insurance and taxes. If you own a car, the average cost of a car insurance in Toronto is $1,952 per year, or $163 per month. The tax rates in Ontario ranges from 5.05% to 13.16% for income, and the combined federal and provincial tax rate is between 20.05% and 53.53%. Ontario's marginal tax rate increases as your income increases. So you pay higher taxes on the level of income that falls into a higher tax bracket. Other expenses. Last but certainly not least, you have the other expenses. This include pet supply, dry cleaning, cloth shopping, gifts, dental cleaning, toilet paper, and household. These are the things we all buy and often forget to budget for. So this is what I suggest you should do. Look at what you currently spend in this area to inform you your Toronto budget. Here are some easy ways to reduce expenses. Eliminate unnecessary bills. For example, if you ever have club memberships and you don't use them, consider getting rid of them. Find cheaper ways to play. Invite friends over for a video night instead of going to a cinema. Eat at home. Get some simple, tasty recipes you enjoy and stock up the fridge. That's all for this video, and all the links to everything I mention, you can find linked in the description box below. Now that you know the cost of living in Toronto, wait until you see how much it costs to live in London, where you could pay up to $3,000 per month for one bedroom. I will see you there.